GETTYAdam Reach has been one of Sheffield Wednesday's top performers this season. The 24-year-old winger is hoping to make another positive impression tomorrow night when Sheffield Wednesday entertains Sky Bet Championship leaders Wolves at Hillsborough. The Newcastle fans admits in this week's Sky Bet FLQA that he grew up idolising Alan Shearer and would like to have played alongside him in the black and white stripes. And the former Middlesbrough trainee also owns up to missing an open goal at Reading, a weakness for sandwiches and a fashion faux pas whilst on loan at Preston. Were you always a winger? Yes, pretty much. Playing 7-a-side, I was a striker, but as soon as it went to 11-a-side, I've always been wide left. Originally I was at Newcastle as a schoolboy. I think I was 10 when I first went up until I was about 15 and I went on to Middlesbrough. No one ever tried to take me away from the wing. Best moment on a football pitch? That's a tough one. Probably making my debut, because your first ever game is a very important game and every player remembers theirs. That was at Middlesbrough under Tony Mowbray. I was 18 at the time and I came on against Doncaster and actually scored on my debut as well in a 30 win in May 2011. All my family were there, so that was a special moment for them and also for me to know they were there, because they had had me play ever since I started playing football. Wednesday, June 21, 2017. Every championship team's old badge ranked from worst to best. There were expectations on me as a left winger because Adam Johnson and Stewie Downing had come through that academy among many other players, so Middlesbrough had a rich history of bringing young players through and I was very proud of that. I've always tried to aspire to things and hope I can go on and do just as well as those two in their careers. I came on out wide, then I found myself in the middle of the park and it might have been Kevin Thompson who slipped me in one-on-one with the keeper. I just took a touch and slipped it under the keeper. I didn't have much time to think about it, which was probably a good thing. I just ran off. I hadn't planned any goal celebration and fortunately players just jumped on top of me before I had to make a decision on what my celebration was going to be. The goal against Aston Villa last month was a nice moment as well. That's probably one of my fondest goals that I've scored to date. Players always dream of having a ball bouncing like that and just running onto it and hitting it. Because it happens so early in the game, that was extra special. It's always nice when a goal like that comes in a win as well, so I was delighted with that. Is there one regret you need to put right? No, I don't look back on things and regret anything. There's no point because you can't go back and change it. I think that in every game, every season and at every club you could have done things better and things could have worked out in a different way, but I don't tend to think about that. I just try and look forward and try my very best to become the best player I can. I'm not one to look back and think what I could have done. GETTYAdam Reach joined Sheffield Wednesday in 2016. It's just a growing up thing. I'm 24 now. I'm a much more developed player and person than I was at Middlesbrough at 18, 19 years old. I didn't have the understanding of the game then, but I've played a lot of games now and I've experienced all types of games. With playing games, you get used to things and you develop as a player and become a better player. Hardest opponent? It's probably not someone you'll think I would say, but I remember when I was at Middlesbrough, we were playing Bolton and Stephen Warnock was playing left back at the time. Middlesbrough won 21 in October 2012. He's obviously a very experienced back and I was very young. I remember the game really well. I was playing wide right in the game. I really struggled and I actually got brought off at half-time. He just used all his experience, his physicality and his age, and he didn't give me a sniff all 45 minutes. That will always stick with me because he won't necessarily be the best back I've come up against, or the quickest, or the strongest, but at the time he had probably 500 games more experience than me and it really showed. He practically knew what I was going to do before I did. You don't want to get brought off at halftime because it usually means that you haven't had a very good game and it's embarrassing. 9 times out of 10 it means you're a little bit off the pace, and at the time I was. In hindsight, it was probably a good thing for me because I was only 19 at the time, and you've got to experience some bad times to become a better player. I definitely learned from it. GETTYAdam Reach on loan at Preston. It's sometimes not the ground itself, it's the experiences you've had there as a player. I've always struggled, not personally but results-wise, at places like Brentford, those tight old stadiums where the fans are really enclosed and on top of the pitch. As an away player, if the game's not going well for you, it's a very daunting place with the fans so close to you, especially as a winger because you spend the majority of the time right up against the touchline. You can hear a little bit of stick. As a young player, you've got to get through those things. I don't think I've won at Brentford. We haven't played them there yet this season, so that's one to put right. What's your guilty food pleasure? I love sandwiches. They can be healthy, but I like to fill them with everything I can. I tend not to try and do that too much, but I would love to have a Subway right now that I'm even talking about it. A big foot-long Subway and filling it with all sorts of crap. When I'm at home, I put everything in. Loads of meat, fried eggs, everything. Lots of ketchup. I put ketchup on everything. GETTYAdam Reach started his career at Middlesbrough. That is a tough one. In my time at Preston we had to come in suits for home games, but we didn't have club suits, so we just came in our own. Everyone was very judgmental, so most players went nice and safe with the suits. I was living in a hotel and one time I forgot my dress shoes, so I came in with a suit on and a pair of black high-top Converse trainers on. Probably not the best choice, but I thought they looked okay with a black suit. Paul Gallagher is a big character at Preston and he got on me right from the start. And when Simon Grayson did his pre-match team talk, he brought it up in front of all the players in a jokey way, so that was a little embarrassing. Boyhood sporting hero. I'm a big Newcastle fan. The time I was growing up was in the heyday under Bobby Robson in the Champions League. At the time we had great players and my hero was Alan Shearer, probably just the same as every other Newcastle fan of that era. Unfortunately, I've never met him. I think he's underestimated by a lot of people. His Premier League record will take some beating. I know that the likes of Harry Kane will be looking to beat it, but they're going to have to do really well to surpass his record. It's incredible really. You'd probably have to go far and wide to find a Newcastle fan for whom Alan Shearer wasn't the hero. I always used to like Laurent Robert as well. He was a left winger like me. He was a bit hit and miss at Newcastle, but when he did score, he scored some incredible goals. He was always someone I looked up to. I wish that I could play left midfield for Newcastle and score goals like he did. If you had the power, what one thing would you change about the game? That's a good question. I do think a winter break would be great, and that's not just because you can get a rest. Especially in the Premier League with the pace and the tempo they play at, I think they deserve a winter break, and I really do think it would benefit the national side when they go to tournaments as well. Maybe more realistically, I know they have brought in goal line technology, but I do think that video technology would improve things. Referees, even in the Championship, they need help. They can't always see everything because the game is played so quickly and they need to keep up with play and see things both on the ball and off the ball. They always get blamed for everything, so I think having a video ref upstairs like they do in rugby, I don't think that would be a bad thing in football. Having a referee off the pitch or in the stand with a microphone would benefit everyone. Skeptics say it would slow the game down, but I don't think it would. Most embarrassing moment in football. At Middlesbrough maybe 3 years ago, we were playing away at Reading. It was 0-0 when a ball came across. I was literally 2 yards out and I blazed it over the bar. We ended up losing that game as well, so that wasn't a particularly good moment in my career. The ball was coming over quite quick and I was stretching, but it's one of those that if someone said, try and put this over the bar, and gave you 10 balls, you would probably score with 8 or 9 of them. This just happened to be the one time that I did put it over the bar. It was the Reading end, too. That's when it doesn't help you being a winger because you end up coming back on the wing and all the fans are in your ear. It wasn't so enjoyable. GETTYAdam was Adam React's hero. You think about it on the bus home. You always go over the game in your head and analyze what you could have done better. Usually on buses on the way home, they have Sky Sports News on. The highlights come up and if there's a glaring miss or you get nutmegged by someone, all the lads on the bus will be giving you a little bit of stick. All in good spirits, but when you don't get the result you want, it's not nice. If you've won, they will be laughing and joking with you, but if you've lost, they'll try and cut you a little bit of slack if you're a young player, and I was probably only 20 or 21 at that point. And you stay off Twitter and things like that because you'll probably get some abuse on there as well. Which player in history would you like to play alongside? As a wide player, I do like to just get past the back and put crosses in, so my dream as a winger would just be a striker who loves to score goals, so I'm going to go with Alan Shearer. He was the type of striker that if you just put balls in the box, 9 times out of 10 he was on the end of it, whether that was with his head or his foot. With him getting 260 Premier League goals, as a winger I think you would pride yourself looking back and thinking that you had helped him get so many of those goals. That would have been nice. He could have made me look good as well. You might not be playing so well, but if you just put balls in the box and he finishes them, the assists are going down in your name and people aren't thinking about how well you've played. If you're putting 10 or 15 goals a season on his head, that's going to look good on you. Think fast, act faster with Sky Bet's new in-play features. Get the picture faster with every live score in one place, grouped by competition on the UK's one-rated iOS betting app.